Here we have a slightly used 2023 Lexus IS 350 F Sport. Now this one comes in ultra white, and then we have black perforated leather interior. And with this one being an IS 350, the powertrain consists of a 311 horsepower, 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 engine, and that's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And this one in particular just has a little over 3,000 miles on it, so barely broken in. But as we come around to the front end here, love the newer designs you get on these Lexus. We have our LED headlamps along with LED daytime running lights, and just a very menacing and aggressive look on this IS 350. And I love the gloss black throughout the grille and on the sides there. But coming around to the wheels here, one of my favorite parts about the car overall, you get these 19-inch alloy wheels, and you have that kind of gunmetal gray finish there. It just looks fantastic. Now we get passive keyless entry on the front doors. And then over here we have our memory seat controls, so just hit set and then hit the number you want to set it to, and then to recall it, just hit either of your 3 presets. We have our power mirror controls. We can turn either side on or off, and then we can adjust using the dial here. Window locks there, power door lock controls, and then we have one-touch automatic up and down windows on all 4 doors. And I like the overall finish of the door panel itself. Not too much premium material, but it's a good look there, and I love that kind of carbon fiber finish that they put there. Nice touch. Bottle holder there, additional storage. Then over here we have our panoramic view. We can set that up. I'll show you where that is on the window sticker so you can see how you can get that. Auto high beams. And then we have the trunk latch, hood latch there, and then trip meter, gauge cluster brightness, power tilt telescoping steering wheel. And there is our power driver's seat with power lumbar support. But I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. So let's see how this back seat room is. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and make the squeeze there. Ooh, it's a very, very tight squeeze. And yeah, I'm not gonna try and fit all the way in here. So again, I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, and that's kind of my leg room behind there. But you do have plenty of room to, let's say, scoot that seat back, and you could fit someone of my size behind. But you can't have them up front too. But there are the rear AC vents there. And then here, I can't see. There we go. Cup holders are right there. Let's go ahead and make our way to the back. We could probably hang a plastic hook or a couple of metal hanger hooks there. I can squeeze out of here. Ooh. And that's kind of what these cars have a history of being like. They just have that rear seat that's not necessarily for full-size adults. I should say bigger adults. But as we come around to the back here, we do get LED tail lamps, dual exhaust. I like the overall look. Can't wait to see how it sounds when we take it for the test drive. And then we have a button here. Of course, you can either pop the trunk from the key fob or from the front as well. But decent trunk size. And then we have an all-weather mat here, carpeted mat underneath, and we'll pull this up here. And there's our spare tire underneath. So if you think that might be an issue, you do have a spare in this particular car. But I like the spoiler here too. That's a nice touch. It does make it look that much more aggressive on this F Sport. But coming around the rear passenger side, we do get side airbags here for the back. And then when the seat's up far enough, that'll fold flat if you need additional space. And then pretty easy to just lock it back into place. And then we do have the anchors hidden behind this little Velcro piece. And I like how they did that because it kind of keeps them out of the way when you're using the seat without the anchors. But then you can just pull that up and then boom, boom, it's right there. I want to make sure you all get a full look at everything here. If you have any questions, at least I can say I've shown everything to the best of my ability, at least. But But here's our power front passenger seat. And then just have a little bit of wear here. I don't know if somebody had their knees up here or makeup or whatever. It's probably makeup, honestly. But here we have our glove compartment, and then owner's manuals are there. The window sticker's right here. And I want to give a huge shout out to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for letting me review this IS 350. I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested in more info or want to purchase. But for what you get, not a bad sticker price in my opinion. It's $51,850, but I mean, this is a performance-oriented vehicle. You get a lot of safety features, and then we also get quite a few options on this one in particular. Gonna put that back. And then where I've hit the hood release, we're just gonna take a quick look underneath here. So mostly covered up, but there's that 311 horsepower, 3.5 liter V6. But let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. And one thing I didn't touch on was we do get blind spot monitors in the side mirrors there. But I will say, as I hop behind the driver's seat, I do like, again, we have that power tilt telescoping steering wheel, but also the seat itself is just pretty comfortable, and the roof line's pretty low, as you can expect, especially with the sunroof, but I can still fit here without bumping my head against it. So that's a plus. But coming over here to the radio, we do get the upgraded 10.3-inch screen. So that can be used with a touch screen, or you can use, of course, the mouse pad and shortcuts that we have available to us. But navigation is here. And then if you want to go ahead and find a destination, hit that hourglass there. And again, you can either use the mouse pad or the screen to find, you can make favorites, find recents, or you can type in a keyword or address. So if you want to find the closest Walmart, it's like my favorite one to do. Now I will say again, with this just being how it is, the mouse pad is not my favorite thing to use. You can see it's a lot faster to just start typing this out. And then you can search there and it'll pull up your results there and show everything there. And then if you ever want to cancel it, all you have to do is just go in there and click through that. So it can be cumbersome, but honestly, not bad. You have wired CarPlay and wired Android Auto anyway, so that's probably the easiest way to use your navigation, but it is built in here, which is nice. And going off of that, we do have Bluetooth audio, a USB port. This one still has a CD drive, which a lot of people miss having in their vehicles. And then for radio, we do get that AM, FM, as well as XM. Let's see if we can go back to the settings here. Again, it's a weird kind of setup here. So you have to hit the menu button, and then you can go through nav, audio, phone. You have your apps available here. And then you also have your info, which you can go through as well. So whether you want to look at the weather, traffic incidents, all of that is available. And then your settings are all in here. You can go through your language, change that. Unit of temperature, you can change that. Units of measurement, you can change that. So on and so forth. And I want to like scroll through here. I don't like that I can't do that. I have to actually go through the side menu here. So that's something I don't see a lot, but whatever. Now for the climate controls, we do get dual zone automatic climate. The cool thing about this is you can use the touch screen, or you can use the sliders down below here, which is pretty neat. I actually like that. So you can either scroll through or you can tap up. And it's very responsive, very quick, which I like. And then fan speed can be adjusted here. If you want to change fan direction, just hit that button there. You can go to auto mode, and then to turn that off, just toggle the fan speed. You can turn the whole system off there. And then I like that the hazards are right there in the middle. And then we have our shortcuts for the audio. We can use this to go through our tracks and whatnot. Tune knob is here for the radio, and then we have a volume knob here. You can click that to turn the audio off, and then adjust that back down by turning it to the left. Nice touch having the clock here. That seems to be working. Time is right and everything. Now I'm gonna move the shifter out of the way. We'll go through that here in a moment, but we do get the 3-stage heated cooled seats along with the heated steering wheel, and all those buttons are right there. I like that that's right in front of you where it should be, or where you would expect it to be. And then for the 8-speed, just hit the brake, grab the shift knob, reverse, neutral, drive, and you come over here, you can manually shift from the shift knob itself or the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. And then for our drive modes, toggle to the left for eco, toggle to the right for sport, push for normal. You have a snow mode as well, then a brake hold, and then traction control toggles right there. And the gauge cluster will change as you go through the different drive modes. But here again, this is where you can use the mouse setup if you want to do that for the radio. Not the best, but it's a lot better than it used to be in the Lexus, I will say that. Center console cubby space, we do have 2 USB-A ports and aux input, as well as the 12 volt. And then up here, push the sunshade back. All of our controls for the sunroof are right here, so I can either slide it or tilt it. So we're gonna slide that just to see how far back it goes. So that's how far it goes. One touch is about right there, and then we can one touch close it all the way. There's a view of the back seat. Garage door transmitters here. And sorry, it's dark in here just from, I'm gonna have to open that back up. I usually don't. But this does have aftermarket tint here, so it's a little dark, but I kind of like it. Now headlamp controls are behind the steering wheel on the left side stock. That's low beams, auto, and then the daytime running lights are off there. Blinkers, and then you can toggle those high beams there, flash there. And then you also have, again, the automatic high beams, so we can just turn those on, and those will be enabled when we have the stock pushback in auto mode. And then on the left side here, we do have our windshield wiper controls. So we have automatic wipers where our intermittents would be. So one time is there, and then we have the auto there, and then just pull all the way down for high, and then we can adjust the auto sensitivity here. So that takes getting used to, because it's like your blinker knob. Most intermittent wiper systems, you go like 1, 2, and then you have like a third setting, but here you just either have to push it down, push it all the way down, and then we pull up for the front wiper fluid, and then I reckon the auto wipers, you actually toggle those on and off, or you can just use the intermittent. So that's pretty neat. I didn't expect that, because most intermittent systems you either have intermittent or auto. So this, you can actually go between them, which is very cool. Now for the audio system, you can go through your modes here, all of your sources. So AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth, and you just hit that button there. You can adjust the volume there. Track lists or radio station presets are here. And then you also have the Bluetooth controls, voice recognition. And then here, one of my favorite things about this is when I hit this button to go through the sub menus, it moves the gauge cluster, that little circle, left to right. So you can either look at your main gauges here, or hit this button and then go through all of your options. So I can toggle my sensitivity for the collision alert, blind spot monitors, I can toggle that. I can change my units here. And since the gauge cluster is digital, you can change that for how you use your miles per hour or kilometers per hour, which is pretty neat, just a touch of a button. And then vehicle settings are in here. And then meter settings right in there. You could change all of that. So there's a lot going on here. And I feel like it's kind of a gift and a curse, because you can get lost in everything that's available. But then the lane keeping system, we have lane centering, so we can turn that on and off, of course, in those settings there. But then this is how you toggle the whole system on and off depending on what you have set up. And then we do have our cruise control, so you just click that to turn on the radar cruise, or you go ahead and hold that and you can go into the regular cruise and then just adjust that there and cancel by pulling up. And then push button starts here. Finally, here is our key fob. And before I forget, the electronic parking brake is right here, which I think is a weird spot. I'm not used to that, but you pull that up to engage, hit the brake, press down and disengage. Took me like 2 minutes to find that. But next, let's go ahead and take this IS 350 F Sport out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in the IS 350 F Sport, of course you get that sport tuned suspension, so this is going to ride, I expect to ride a bit stiffer than just a regular IS, but still comfortable in the seats, and it helps having the heated and cooled seats, and just the material, especially in the center, it has that soft touch feel. Now I will say the blinker stock for the turn signals makes a lot of sense. So just tap it up, you have that the 3 blink, and then you can pull it all the way, and then to turn it off you just pull it down. So it's not like in a lot of blinker systems you pull it down, then the left blinker's going on and you're just trying to turn all the blinkers off. So I like that that's there. But I want to put it into sport mode now and use these paddle shifters. So the shifts are relatively quick. I don't necessarily, it doesn't feel like a dual clutch system where they're snappy, but it gets the job done again. And it does tend to want to do its own thing after a while. And you can just hold that plus paddle to go back into regular drive mode. But we do have an adaptive cruise system here, or radar cruise system, excuse me. So I want to try that out. So having the lane centering and the radar cruise, pretty nice setup. It makes it just that much easier to drive on the interstate. And we're getting right at probably 30 plus miles per gallon. Of course, we're a little under the speed limit, but it can be fuel efficient if you keep your foot out of the gas pedal. Let me just put it that way. And honestly, even in sport mode, having the F Sport suspension is still pretty comfortable ride here. But I'm gonna keep it in the sport mode, and hopefully this truck will get out of the way and I can put my foot down one good time. So I think this car in particular is still bringing around sticker price with this kind of mileage on it. Of course, everything's pretty difficult to find at this point, even as the used car prices start to come back down and new car inventories pick back up. All the nice stuff is still hard to come by, but I really like this car just for how sporty it is, how good it looks, especially in this ultra white paint. Let's give it some throttle here. So it is a naturally aspirated V6. What I like about the engine overall is because it's not turbocharged, it doesn't feel as quick until you get to around 5,000 RPMs. You start to redline, then you're really pulling. And that's pretty enjoyable in a car like this, I think. And again, you're able to get 30 plus miles per gallon highway. It's a good setup. Now, I think one of my dream cars growing up was the ISF, when those came out in like 2007, 2008. And of course those had the naturally aspirated V8s. That I would love to drive one of those, but even if they put a turbo on something like this, or a twin turbo system, and bring the ISF back, it might be back, I just haven't seen one. But that would be exhilarating, I'm sure. Because even with this F Sport, still a quick car, You just kind of have to get to know it, keep it in sport mode. But I mean, overall, for it to be a Lexus, it's pretty impressive all the way around. But I want to give another huge shout out to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for letting me review this car today. I like being able to kind of see vehicles that people trade in. You might be thinking, why would they trade this car in with 3,000 miles? What do they not like about it? But you know, a lot of people are still flipping cars when they can, as the market comes back down, as the interest rates go back up. But this is still a pretty fun vehicle in my opinion, even just with a naturally aspirated V6 and 8-speed automatic. It drives like a Lexus and it'll probably last like a Lexus, so that's a big plus if you're considering buying a vehicle like this. But I mean, it's a Lexus IS 350 F Sport. It's pretty much what I expected. So with that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 IS 350 F Sport.